Good evening and welcome to the Toronto Debating Society for Tuesday, May 24th, 2011. My name is Michelle and I'm your chairperson for this evening, the speaker for this evening. Tonight's resolution, be it resolved that summer is the best season. This is the final debate of the 2010-2011 year. Please welcome the Prime Minister to define the resolution, introduce our main argument. Please welcome the
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To define the resolution that summer is the best season. Firstly, summer is the period in Canada from roughly June 21st to September 21st. Best, most conducive to good or positive feelings. And season, time of year compared to spring, autumn, and winter. Now, we as a government would like to present a number of points under the headings of economics, health, and entertainment. In particular, and we will also have another section that I will talk about shortly. Firstly, economics. Summer is the best season. For one, job creation. Job positions created and filled in the summer because of students being off from university and high school. They form summer job squads or summer job programs. They don't have winter job squads. And individuals may do snow shoveling for occasional people, but the majority of jobs for young people are provided in the summer. And in 2008, the Government of Canada concluded agreements with more than 20,000 organizations to create 36,000 summer jobs for students, according to Human Resources and Skills Development Canada. Now, that's important because it helps the economy. It gets people out working, gives experience to students and young people as they get older and go into the actual work world after school. Secondly, the economy of bars and restaurants is enhanced by patios, the use of patios. And the opposition may say, well, they have winter patios and they're heated and the like. But ladies and gentlemen, it costs money to pay for the heating, which in turn increases the prices and in turn lessens the number of people that will eventually show up. Patios outside are free. Compared to 50 years ago, if you look at Commissioner of Works Boulevard signs, which were mostly for car parking, some for patios, they've increased substantially outside restaurants. And in the summer, especially with international and national crowds coming into the city for a variety of events and activities, the restaurants want to take advantage of these summer days where people enjoy being out in the sun and drinking their refreshing beverages, beer or otherwise. Thirdly, home renovations spent on roofing. Generally, people don't roof in the winter. They don't fix their eavesdropping in the winter, siding, windows, unless it's an emergency. The economy for contractors and construction companies is increased by summer. And the good, positive feelings are felt not only by the homeowners, but by the people employed by these contractors, as well as the City of Toronto for business taxes or whatever community it might be in. The adjudicator might say, well, this is an appeal to public opinion, but thousands of seniors, snowbirds, can't be wrong when they go down to the United States and point south in the wintertime to get away from Mother Nature, the arthritis pains, and enjoy no shoveling of snow, icy sidewalks, and the like. Health benefits. Quartzsite, Arizona, population 2,100, has 1 million people in January in their mobile homes, according to Trekking the Snowbirds, an article in the journal American Review of Canadian Studies in 2002. People head south for the reason that they want the sun that they get in the summer. The seniors enjoy it in the summertime, and they can get out and enjoy their gardening and other opportunities. But in the wintertime, they want to get away. Socializing as well. Barbecues, pool parties, and the like. You may go inside indeed, but you have an opportunity to play frisbee and exercise with your friends socially. As far as health goes, seasonal affective disorder is a problem that occurs in the wintertime, generally from September to March, and will affect people with a form of depression that is not positive, does not make them feel good at all. And the only advantage, should the opposition bring up the summer seasonal affective disorder, is in fact an advantage for us. It, among other things, says the Mayo Clinic, causes increased sex drive. So there's a positive, at least, for having summer seasonal affective disorder, which is much less in the Canadian population. 2 to 3% have the standard winter version, and much fewer people, according to evidence-based management of seasonal affective disorder from the Department of Psychiatry of UBC investigators in 2002. So, ladies and gentlemen, from that health perspective as well, vitamin D, an important way to deal with osteoporosis, reducing colorectal cancer by 2/3, breast cancer by 50%, 18 minutes a day in the summertime, where most of the sun comes from, is an opportune time to enjoy the sun as well, responsibly, mind you, but enjoy it as well and benefit your overall health. As far as entertainment, movies, summer movies come out because people are about and around and they have money to spend. And that's what happens to the movie companies. They encourage people to come in. And people who don't like being outside in the sunshine and getting their vitamin D have an opportunity to go inside and be entertained by the latest big money thriller movies. Parents send their kids to summer camps. Gives them a chance to socialize, gives them a chance to grow up, gets them out of the parents' hair. Learn how to swim, other skills that are important for work or just general interest, ladies and gentlemen. So those are entertainment issues as well. In the public eye, the Ides of March, for example, bad thing in the spring for Caesar, definitely. Pierre Trudeau said, a Canadian is someone who knows how to be loving a canoe. It's harder in the winter, and not the good kind of harder, especially out of the canoe, definitely. But ladies and gentlemen, that is fun out in the sun, if you want, for those wishing to enjoy themselves. Sporting-wise, summer sports, soccer, catchball, frisbee, basketball, baseball, football. Children don't need a lot of equipment or money to do this. Winter sports, hockey, figure skating, curling, skiing, lots of money. You have to get to a hill, get to a rink, make sure it's open, fight with other people using the lake or whatever. You don't need to do that in the summertime when you are out and playing. And in the spring and fall, mud, 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 mud everywhere, ladies and gentlemen. Nasty if you're a parent. And finally, if you're in the wintertime with kids, good luck getting them in and out of a snowsuit into a car, and then suddenly they have to use the washroom. Summertime, not that hassle. Ladies and gentlemen, summer is the best season.
Thank you very much, Prime Minister. The arguments presented. Justice. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Leader of the Opposition, Gerry. For 7 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam Speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the government's proposition here this evening, and that is basically that summer is most conducive to good feelings. It is the opposition's stand, that you don't need summer to have good feelings. In fact, you must be some kind of dysfunctional person or family if the only time you can have good feelings is in the summer. We in the opposition are an equal opportunity, seasonally adjusted, debating opposition. We welcome other seasons. We don't say you're going to have good times in the summer. We're saying you're going to have good times all the time. And that's our position this evening. The government set out their plan, their setup by saying that high school students and university students, all 36,000 of them that have been welcomed by the government, can have summer training or some kind of ability to get work experience. Well, fantastic, but ladies and gentlemen, where do the real jobs come from? Typically not in the summer. The students may take over jobs that other people are off on vacation doing, but it is not a job creation program. 36,000 students was a number I heard. This is a drop in the bucket compared to the unemployed, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that they're high school students getting experience flipping burgers is neither here nor there. It's useful, but so what? It's just another way of being employed part-time, and it doesn't really give them necessarily good feelings. Tell a guy flipping burgers for 12 hours a day that he's feeling good. Heating, well, sure, if you're sitting out on a patio, but what about the air conditioning that's going on in the main office, in the main pub or bar or where you're sitting? Air conditioning is a major part of summer because summers in Canada are hot and sweaty, and you really often want to be inside. I'll get onto the health part of it later about the heating, about the heat, about the summer heat later on when I deal with the health. And Florida, well, ladies and gentlemen, the government's actually played into our hands here. When do people go south to Florida and Arizona? It's in winter. What is it that makes summer best if they go to Arizona in the winter? Think about it. We'll catch up in the bar, okay? They go in the winter, not the summer, okay? It's warm. Ladies and gentlemen, the second point that the government raised, health, the seasonally affected disorder. Well, isn't this wonderful? I haven't heard of anyone being killed from, or dying, or committing suicide from seasonally affected disorder. What I have heard of is a massive amount of people who contract melanoma in the summer, while they're out getting their dose of vitamin D maybe, and I have heard of many people who have been almost asphyxiated by smog, or even died from smog, or from asthma. There are a lot of people who cannot handle the summer being outside, and what the health websites say is stay indoors. If it's hot during the summer, stay indoors. 18 minutes of vitamin D is what the government is saying is what you need from the sun. Well, you can get that in half a litre of milk, ladies and gentlemen. Who doesn't get half a litre of milk every day or so? Entertainment. Well, entertainment, ladies and gentlemen, this is exactly one of our points in the opposition. What stops in the summer? Opera, TSO, theatre, everything culture, everything that's really entertainment for people who like other things apart from the worst movies ever. Hey, it's summer, guys! Come and watch our dreadful movies because, not because it's summer, but because it's cooler in here. You don't want to be outside. Come on inside, away from the summer, where it's cooler. That's what entertainment, as the government knows it, is all about. They show the worst movies, but you don't mind because you're cooler. You're in the cool. Summer camps. Well, great. Isn't this fantastic that the kids are in summer camp, but you still, as a parent, unless you can afford to send them away, which most parents, of course, can't, most parents are caught either looking after their kids in the summer because they can't afford to send them away, or they have to pick them up, drop them off, pick them up, drop them off, pick them up, drop them off. It's a nightmare. Let me tell you, as a parent, I know about this kind of thing. We have other references of love in the canoe, summer sports and money. It's all really not particularly impressive, and I'm sure you'll agree that it really didn't amount to a proverbial hill of beans. Ladies and gentlemen, health warnings. I said I would get back to you. In the summer, the combination of high heat and high humidity can be very dangerous. This is all from the Toronto website, health website. High summer heat and humidity can also be very dangerous too, and there's a whole list of people. And I'm glad that the leader of the government mentioned the Mayo Clinic, because I've got one here that will meet his quote from the Mayo Clinic website. Doctors believe exposure to ultraviolet UV radiation from the sun and from tanning lamps and beds is the leading cause of melanoma. Ooh, you don't want that. But that's okay with the government. They don't mind. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have shown that the government's arguments are really not of any importance to the debate this evening. They've all been dealt with. What we will say is that there are more negatives relating to the summer than there are to the other season. But, and this is something that my trusted colleague here will take up on, ladies and gentlemen, the other seasons are as valid, or maybe even more valid. You don't get the heat, you don't get the traffic jams. Like, consider the good feelings of being stuck in a traffic jam coming down to 400 on a Sunday evening. That does not give me good feelings. It does not give the people in the traffic jam good feelings. The good feelings part of it from the government can be applied to any situation in any season. So, ladies and gentlemen, just because it's summer that they're talking about, they have not convinced me, and I'm sure they have not convinced you, that just because you have some good feelings about some parts of summer does not mean to say, oh, Okay, does not mean to say that it is the best. Ladies and gentlemen, please vote against the motion this evening.
It's a very interesting conversation today, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Our next speaker is the member of government. Michael's going to come and speak to us for 5 minutes. Please welcome Michael.
Summertime and the living is easy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, based on what we just heard from the leader of the opposition, summer sure isn't his best season. I think disproved the theory that where there's smoke, there's fire. Lots of smoke, not a lot of fire. I think the government, the opposition, no points of information, sort of hung it itself. This quote, "You don't need summer to have good feelings." Did he say you need winter? No. And the debate isn't about that. It's about which season is most conducive. His comment, therefore, is meaningless. Then he said, "You can have good feelings all the time." You'll see this if you watch the tape, and I quote, "You can have good feelings all the time." Thank you very much, but that doesn't prove your point one bit. Then he talked about unemployment insurance and talked about some of our statistics, but it is well known, ladies and gentlemen, that the unemployment insurance rate in Canada always goes down in the summer, always. And those people that now have jobs are very happy, which is what this debate is all about. Then there was at some point, I did not get it, I hope maybe you did, maybe in the bar it can be explained in simplistic terms, but talking about they go in the winter down south and they go in the winter. Why? He looks at me, why? They go in the winter because that's where it is, like it is in Canada in the summer. So, I mean, the winter. Yeah, himself. Summer is dangerous, we're told. Melanoma, whoa! Forget all those thousands of seniors that slip and fall and break their hips in the winter or car accidents. Forget about that. The danger to our society. And traffic jams, ladies and gentlemen. Traffic is a breeze in the city in the summer because everybody's up north having a good time. Okay, let's look at a few points that I've like to talk about. If the cold months are best, why does this very club and thousands like it suspend operations in the summer? Because people are too busy having fun. That's why nobody will show up. My partner alluded to the many more people suffer from depression in the cold months here in Canada. Separation, serotonin production goes down in the winter because of the lack of sunlight. At the Mood Disorder Association where I work, the busiest months for distress calls are January, February, and March. They actually operate on reduced hours 4 days a week in the summertime because they're not as busy. The worst month for people taking their own life in Canada, sadly, is March. And where he got his statistics about people with SAD not taking their own lives, I'm not even going to justify that one. For an example, you recall me trying to make you all laugh in our comedy debate this past summer. I was terrible. You know why? I was depressed, that's why. In Canada, if Canada is such a great place in the winter, why do 45%, this is off the internet, 45% of Canadians make plans to get the heck out of here and go south? 45%. And if Canada is such a happy place to be in the winter or in the cold months, to repeat my partner's point, why do almost 75% of the 5 million visitors to Canada every year come here in the summer? Women love watching men in Speedo bathing suits, men love watching women in their bikinis. Which is the best time of the year to do that? You know, there's not a lot of polls on the subject, and I looked, so I did my own poll. On a nice day on my own street, I knocked on the door of 18 houses. The results, 14 of the 18 said summer was the best season. 3 of the 18 said winter was the best season. And one of them slammed her door in my face and told me to F off. So, you know, you can tell a lot about how we feel from the music we listen to. I Googled this. I Googled happy songs with the word summer in it. 229 million hits. You check it out when you get home. I Googled happy songs with the word winter in it. 11 hits. And most of those were about Christmas. So now here are a few, some of the summer songs, like the summer wind, what about the winter blizzard? Nat King Cole's, my great uncle, talked about the lazy, hazy days of summer. What about the frantic, frozen days of February? And you know, kids, you know, looking at the various activities we love. In the summer, the kids have the joy of leaving school and enjoying their summer holiday and the dread of coming back in the fall. You know, kids, and when kids are part of our debate, we know what their favorite season is. You know, washing your car in the summer on a nice day versus scraping the ice off it, you know, in a cold 40-degree winter morning. Ladies and gentlemen, you know in your heart that summer is the best season. We've explained why.
Thank you very much. And the final speaker before our summations is a member of the opposition. Please join me in welcoming Margie for 5 minutes.
Oh, there ain't no cure for the summertime blues. Okay, so my partner said, and it's true, we don't discriminate against seasons. Even the slower seasons are part of the seasonal family, and we invite them to the big dinners and everything. But it doesn't mean that they're truly equal. There were some arguments brought up that I found intriguing. The health. Now I don't discriminate, but summers were hell for me as a child. I had allergies. I had trouble with asthma and smog. If I went outside, there was poison ivy, there were mosquitoes. I get burned to the crisp if I even, go near the sun. So very sickly, horrid time for me where I sheltered indoors as best I could. But, I'm sure some people enjoyed that sort of itchy thing, itchy, right? It makes you itchy just thinking about it. Summer, itchy, right? So, okay, so health, yeah, all right, breathing and such, if that's not important to you. Summer can go really, really well. In terms of economics, now I just work at a bank, so I wouldn't know this, but apparently the GDP, the stock market, and the GNP all slow down in summer. And the hiring does in fact slow down for real jobs as opposed to minimum wage jobs, as we mentioned, flipping burgers, and that's okay. And the economics, it's a little questionable, but okay. Now, as for entertainment, the kids are not in school, so yes, you're going to be in the entertainment business if you're a parent. Good luck with that. Why do we have so many articles in the newspaper? Help us entertain the kids. Dear God, they're still home. When does fall come? So there's that, and of course the crappy movies get shoved out in the summer, right? Why? Because people are desperate for the air conditioning, and they'll go and they'll watch anything just to get the hell out of the summer weather. And that's fine, and like I said, we still invite summer to the family dinners, but it doesn't mean it's our favorite season. In terms of favorites, there are people like Eddie Pulla and George Weil who said that winter, specifically Christmas, is the most wonderful time of the year, and if that's not authentic, I don't know what is. And in fact, Garrison Keillor will go so far as to say that warm weather makes people lazy and indolent, and that it's only the people of the north who have the good cold weather, fine, upstanding people, and not the people of questionable moral character in the more southern, warmer climes. I'm just saying. Now, I do lean towards winter. In the summer, talk about the economics. You've got those economic stimuli of hurricanes and tornadoes. They certainly do stimulate the construction industry. Not sure they're making people feel happy, but if that's what summer can contribute, we try to appreciate that thing of the construction jobs. That's what we were on about, right? So hurricanes and tornadoes, in a roundabout way, I suppose, inspired maybe good feeling, and well, maybe not. Okay, anyway, moving on. As opposed to those horrid things, what was better than a snow day as a kid? You get a big snowstorm, you don't wipe out of town, you get a snow day, man. That's like one of the best. You don't get snow days in summer, that's no good. I would like everyone to consider whether or not the debate club is actually fun. because there was an implication that it wasn't. I will point out certain key holidays that happen in not summer. Christmas, which gives you candy, happens in the winter. Spring, which has Easter, gives you candy. Fall, which has Halloween, also provides you candy. You will not find a candy-related holiday in the summer, folks. And I would say that anything without chocolat is really remiss. And then finally, when it just comes to health and safety, winter has got to be the best, because according to the Zombie Survival Guide, we are safest from the zombie apocalypse in the winter because zombies freeze. In the summer, they move freely. So, although we're not saying you should hate summer, and we should try to appreciate its smoggy, poison-ivy, mosquito-ridden charms for what they are, we still ask you to defeat the motion. Thank you.
I've never quite thought of summer as the chocolate-covered zombie season. But to summarize the opposition's stance tonight here, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Leader of the Opposition, Jim, for 2 minutes to summarize the meeting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ladies and gentlemen, the government is full of hot air.
Source.
In the bar. They have not made their case. They are setting out to prove that summer is the most conducive to good feelings. The season of summer is most conducive to good feelings. And have identified high school students who get jobs flipping burgers, having good feelings in the summer. They've identified the sitting outdoors because it's an economically viable rather than being indoors in the air conditioning. It's a totally false argument. And we really just dealt with summer versus winter. We also have spring now, and as some people actually can confuse days like today with summer days, but they're actually spring days. They're in the spring, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what makes things like the spring, a season like the spring, or fall like this, enjoyable. It gives you good feelings, and it doesn't have to be the summer. We've also had the government telling us that summer is the best for your health. It's actually one of the worst seasons for your health. Vitamin D doesn't really get affected by whether you're in the sun or not. And of course, for your health, what could be a better reason for it not being the summer, except that summer is not zombie-free. As my learned colleague here has outlined, winter is zombie-free, and so probably is a lot of spring and fall. So, ladies and gentlemen, the government has not made their case. They have really just come up with a few ideas that say, isn't it good to have these good feelings? We say, well, yes, these can be good feelings, but when it's put against all the negatives of the summer, spring, fall, and winter are better than summer, because, ladies and gentlemen, summer is not the best season, and we wish you to vote against the motion this evening.
Thank you very much, Jim. Thank you to the opposition. And now to summarize the government's stance, please join me in welcoming our Prime Minister, Dean, for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have to quickly address some of the issues that were raised here before summarizing my points. Firstly, the driving home from the cottage in the summertime has got to be less comparable than driving in a freak snowstorm and getting into an accident on the 400 at low speed in the summer versus sliding speed in the winter. Summer allergies and poison ivy, that implies that everybody's got it. In fact, poor Margie was the only one in her neighborhood that had it, and they now have medications to help you cope with that. People are enjoying their summer holidays, which is why the GDP, GNP go down in the summer. They're actually having fun out there instead of working at their desks. Christmas happens to fall in the summertime in Australia and down south of the equator, so that argument's out the window. And Canada doesn't have a lot of hurricanes and tornadoes compared to the United States, and we did talk about Canada. And I would point out the Quebec snowstorm in the early 2000s that killed a good number of people from freezing to death because they couldn't get out. And the Christmas, Easter, and Halloween candies are required to give you a sugar hit because you don't get the regular bliss from summer weather, ladies and gentlemen, as well as melanoma being caused by a large number of tanning salons over the winter as people prepare to tan in the summer, ladies and gentlemen. So back to our points: economic benefits, job creation, patios, and increased economies for bar and restaurant owners, snowbirds leaving for warmer climes to not deal with snowstorms, icy sidewalks, shoveling snow, steps, fixing furnaces and the like, and health issues that were brought up, vitamin D, just a general good feeling from not dealing with seasonal affective disorder over the winter. And finally, entertainment, as dark as it might be in the cinema, is refreshing to people who don't want to be outside playing, but want to keep up with the latest movies. Ladies and gentlemen, we do believe, we have proven, summer is the best summer.
Thank you very much to all four debaters. At this point in time, our adjudicator is going to deliver his evaluation, his adjudication of tonight's debate for 10 minutes. Please join me along with Gerry. Okay, 5 minutes.
Michelle, did you do the vote?
Yeah.
Oh, you did it, sure.
Thank you very much. I found tonight's debate very interesting. Dean started with a definition, a very, very straightforward, simple definition, conducive to good feelings. So that's what I was looking for. I found Dean's arguments, 3 separate arguments, very easy to understand. He spoke about the economy, he spoke about health, and he spoke about entertainment. On the economy, he talked about job creation, very clear, 36,000 jobs. I'm sure they were very well appreciated by all the people who got them. Tourism, definitely a big thing for Canada in the summer. We have lots of tourists coming up here spending lots of dollars. Home renovations, definitely big thing for the contractors, construction jobs created in the summer. Business taxes, no doubt, go up with all this stuff that's going on, all this construction in the summer. He spoke about the snowbirds, and definitely lots and lots of people leave Canada looking for those conducive feelings that they find with the summer season, wherever that may be. Socializing, lots of socializing as well. On health, he spoke about seasonal disorders, and I know quite a few people that have that problem, and it is definitely a big problem. Whether it's just something you can take some vitamin D and get rid of, I don't think so. Finally, entertainment. We talked about summer movies, summer camps, all the beneficial things that kids get from going to summer camps, the maturity, the skills they learn. He also spoke about something about the Ides of March being a bad time, obviously, certainly for Mr. Caesar. Sports in the summer, lots of summer sports going on with very little in the need of heavy equipment such as hockey breaks. Moving on to the Leader of the Opposition, Jim. Lots and lots of points of rebuttal. You don't need the summer to have good feelings, it's equal all year long. He poo-pooed the 36,000 jobs as being flipping burgers. Whether that's good or not, I'm not sure. Air conditioning, certainly that's one of the, I guess it's a negative factor, that the huge amount of energy we need to cool our homes and everything down. I got confused about the snowbirds in the Florida in the winter, but more on that at the pub, hopefully. Okay, and then he talked about vitamin D. You can get it through milk, and you know, it's better to have that than melanomas. Entertainment, he talked about the TSO and the opera and all the other things that shut down in the summer, certainly a valid point. And summer camps, whereas they may be beneficial, they cost a lot of money, and you got to get the kids back and forth. And then he moved on to his arguments. The first one was to do with health. He talked about the heat and the humidity and He was going to come, he said there's a list, but I never did hear the list. He talked about the Mayo Clinic, UV from the sun, the leading cause of melanoma. I certainly can understand that. The traffic of the summer, sitting in the traffic coming down from up north, pretty bad thing, all your good feelings being gone. Then we moved on to Michael, and Michael had 5 different points of rebuttal. He talked about the depression in the winter. He talked about 45% of the Canadians leaving in the winter, 75% of our visitors come in the summer. Then he did his own poll, his knocking on the doors, 14 out of 18, whether that was true or not.
That's my impunity.
No, not at all. School. When I was a kid, school was definitely done in the summer, and that was the best part of my life. I enjoyed it, and that's what he was implying. And then he talked about, well, those were his arguments, I'm sorry. His rebuttals were unemployment goes down in the summer. He again referred to the snowbirds. He was as confused as I was, I think. Seniors falling in the ice and snow doesn't make it a very conducive time of the year for them. And he said traffic in the city, if you stay in the city, traffic's wonderful because everybody's gone up north. We move on to Margie. You started with some rebuttal. You talked a nice start with the summertime blues. Nice taking away from Michael's summer songs that he was talking about. You talked about summer allergies, poison ivy, sunburn. Yeah, I had lots of sunburn too. You said that the GDP slows down in the summer. Lots of bad movies because people are just looking for air conditioning. You talked about winter being the most wonderful time of the year. Construction jobs, I wasn't really clear on what you were saying there. Yeah, snow days, and then you talked about, your arguments were winter brings snow days and kids love those. You said Christmas, Easter, Halloween, candy holidays, and kids certainly look forward to those, so that's an argument for that time of the year. And then the zombie illusion, health and safety. Okay. Our summaries. Our summaries. Summer versus winter. And Jim, you brought up something about spring. To me, that sounded like new information because I don't think it was mentioned before. But okay, then you reiterated the idea about health and the vitamin D, getting your summer fix with vitamin D, and then you went into some zombie stuff as well. Okay. All right, Prime Minister then
Good
came up.
partnership on the zombies.
Teamwork.
Excellent teamwork on the zombies.
Thank you.
Okay. Prime Minister then came up and said that traffic, he'd rather be in slow summer traffic than dangerous winter traffic. I can understand that. He went over some points of rebuttal, which I thought was really good. He hammered the holidays. Everybody's on holiday, that's why the GDP goes down. I talked about Christmas in Australia being in the summer, certainly it is. He talked about no hurricanes and tornadoes. That's remember we're talking about Canada, and most of those, not all, but most of those happen in the U.S. He talked about the Quebec snowstorm a few years ago, and then he hit the candy thing with the sugar hit, which was a sort of a valid point. And then in the last minute, he went over his economic, his health, and his entertainment and hit almost all the major points. The long and the short of it is I awarded this to the government, and I consider it the best debater today, Michael. 75 and 60.
Shame.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Gerry, for your adjudication. I had a sense that we were looking at the zombies versus the sexy vampires. That's the debate topic that you want to do, isn't it? Zombies versus vampires, and they were sexy talk over here, so interesting. And I did see Thor in 3D, and it's actually pretty cool, and I'm a total European French movie snob. And Shakespeare happens in the summer. Shakespeare, Stratford, Shaw, Summer Works, all sorts of just mentioning that. The general vote, ladies and gentlemen, agreed, concurred with our adjudicator to a vote 8 to 0.
Whoa!
With government.
The zombies were on our side.